If you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you know that I run an email and SMS marketing agency. Now, recently I posted a video where I did some live cold calling, which a bunch of you found useful. In today's video, I'm actually going to go a bit more in depth as to what I actually do when it comes to this cold calling and how I get leads and the whole process, literally from start to finish, from finding the lead to calling them to hopefully, like the previous video, actually closing them. So let's get into it. This here is Lusha, okay? And Lusha is what I use to find leads and find the contact details of owners. Now, it is a bit pricey. I'll quickly show you guys the pricing breakdown right here, but it is well worth the investment. You can go for the free plan. It gets you 5 credits, allows you to identify 5 users or contact details of people you want to get in touch with. But I'm currently, I believe, on the premium plan, and I get about 80 credits per month. Yeah, so 80 credits, which is essentially 80 people that I can call every single month. This is how I capture my leads. I don't call the business and ask to speak to the founder. I just call the founder directly on their cell phone number. Super useful. Also, little tip, it is much easier to get through to the founder if the phone number you are calling from is from the same country as that founder. I'm calling people in New Zealand. My cell phone right here is a New Zealand cell phone. It has a New Zealand number, so when they see that, they are much more likely to answer. That's going to be true for pretty much anywhere in any country that you're calling from. So let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account, pardon me, and I'm going to show you the process that I go through to create a search and to actually get in touch with people. So step number 1 is I hit prospect search and I go ahead and create a new search. See if I can get this little thing out of the way. So let's just go ahead and create a search here. As you can see, we're in the little section and we'll go ahead and hit a filter. So we'll go industry. We'll select the industry. Let's just say in my case, food and beverage manufacturing. We'll just do that. Now personally, I want to talk to people who have businesses that are between 1 and 10 people and 11 and 50 people. I'm not really too concerned about revenue. I want to make sure the contact details, I have their phone number, and let's just say seniority. I'm going to say founder, manager, director. That's the type of job titles that I'm after. And I'm also going to restrict it by location. This is the big one. New Zealand. You're going to watch this shrink drastically. There you go. We just went 55,000 people to now 424. Now, when you have the credits, if you have credits, you can actually start unlocking the contact details of these people. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to quickly go ahead and save this search. I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it, I'm going to save it. I'm going to click Save Search. I'm going to click IB food and beverage. And then from there, we're going to have a list of contacts that I can actively reach out to and call. So if I want to get in touch with, for example, Ovation New Zealand, I have the individual's details. All I have to do is click unlock and it gives me his phone number. Now, I'm not going to show you those phone numbers here, but I am going to show you the process of me essentially going through a list of contacts and calling those people. So now that I have this list, I will then go through and figure out what companies I actually do want to get in touch with, right? So since I'm after food and beverage, since I do email marketing for e-commerce businesses, I only want to be talking to businesses that can actually benefit from email marketing. There's no point in me selling something to somebody that they don't actually need. And I know exactly the type of business that I'm after. Ideally, an e-commerce business that's doing at least $20,000 a month in sales that has an email presence, and we can help them. So just the way that I go through this, and keep in mind this is quite manually intensive, I just do the following. I find this, I go, okay, ubi.com. I can see it's based in the UK, but I can see that the founder is based in New Zealand. So let's click ubi.com, check this out. Sell veggie boxes to local customers with ease. Perfect. So this, looking at this now, is buy food, New Zealand. This is actually not going to be a good fit because they're not direct to consumer. I can see that these guys are more B2B. So I'm not going to get in touch with that guy. As you go through this list, you get to get a better feel for what's a customer-facing business and what's a what's a B2B business. Like, I'm 95% sure this is B2B. Yep, so I can see this is business to business, or B2B as we call it. So I'm not going to contact them. I already know about that business. I've actually already reached out to them. Food Safe, I know for a fact that I can't get in touch with those people. Secret Kiwi Kitchen, and I know about the other two businesses as well, so I'm not going to get in touch with them. Let's see about these guys. These guys might be a good group to contact. I click them. Cool. I can see that they're selling a physical product, but I can also get a vibe. I can check, are these guys actually big enough for what I want to be doing? 3,500 followers. They're probably not doing $20,000 a month, so I'm probably just going to go ahead. But here's the thing. They also have email marketing, so I'll go ahead and subscribe to that, and I'll check out their newsletter. And you know what? I'm going to click Show Details. Now, I'm not going to show you those details now. You can look at it and find your own. But from there, I can then access their phone number. And that's the process. I just rinse and repeat. I just go through as many people as I can, and I just punch out the calls. And I'll show you what that looks like right now. Now we have our list of contacts, and it's time to actually start calling them. Now, I know this is probably really weird, but I like to put on glasses before I do cold calling because this shit makes me really nervous. I get really anxious, and for some reason, putting on glasses like this, I know it's weird, get off my ass, it just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable when I start hitting the phones. So let's just get into the calling. I'm going to show you exactly what the process is. I've got all my leads set up in the Lusha CRM, and I'm going to start calling these bad boys. And hopefully, after about 10 calls, in my experience, I will get one meeting. And from that one meeting, typically about 50% of them become clients. And we just go from there. Hey, my name's Gavin. Hey, full transparency, bit of a cold call. I think, have we talked before? I can't remember.
No.
No worries. I help businesses with their email and SMS marketing, and was just kind of wondering what you guys were doing on that front.
Sorry, so what's your company?
We do email marketing for businesses.
Right, we do it all ourselves and quite happy with that at the moment.
Okay, cool. Hey, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye. So I completely fucked that one up because I looked at them and then I realized like this might not actually be a good lead, and then I hesitated like a little sissy, and boom, you reap what you done sow. And so there you go. It didn't really work out there, so now I'm going to go ahead and mark that person. I'm going to tag them as done because we're not going to communicate with them anymore. And then we're just going to keep on pushing through. So I always like to do a little bit of research before I contact each lead. Now, I've obviously researched them before. I may have already joined their newsletter, but I just like to keep hitting them on the phones and make sure I have a little bit of an understanding before I actually hit them up. So next one here, let's just go in here. It's really important to mark the people when they're done as well, just because it's really awkward when you call them up a second time after they've told you to go away. Not fun. My name's Gavin. Full transparency, bit of a cold call. You got 20 seconds?
Depends what it's for, Gavin.
All right, too easy. Well, I'm based over in Auckland, St. Luke's, and I help businesses with their email marketing. And I jumped onto your guys' website and subscribed to the old newsletter, and was just kind of wondering how that was working for you guys.
Goes alright. We just do it once a month and have it kind of, I guess we're trying to dial it in a little bit each month, but it happens.
Yeah, definitely. Well, dude, I'll give you another 5 second pitch, I guess. I try and get about 35% of revenue for the businesses that I work with from email. And we use, I'm sure you guys are using something similar like Klaviyo. Have you guys heard of Klaviyo before?
Yeah, that's what we use. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Are you getting that number, 35%?
What kind of businesses do you work with? What kind of like profit level or price point are they working from?
Yeah, definitely. So direct to consumer, we've got price points kind of ranging. So all New Zealand-based businesses, more in the fast-moving consumer good area, price points ranging from $50 all the way up to $300 to $400.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of conversion rate and or revenue level coming from our newsletter at the moment, but it's a pretty pricey product and it's generally a one-time purchase, so it's not the best business model for throwing stuff down the email pipe and hoping they keep buying new things, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Have you got any tips for that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a few things, right? Like, so I'm checking you guys out at the moment. You have the the mini and the big, and then the stool and everything like that, right? I'm guessing. I mean, there's ways to cross sell, right? So obviously, if they buy the mini and they buy the big, you can cross sell the stool there. I mean, to be honest, if I was you, I'd look at even just like introducing new SKUs to the model and seeing if there's little opportunities to cross sell from there.
Yeah, we generally try to upsell the stool at checkout so that we kind of make that purchase in one moment. But,
Yeah.
and we've got our course that we originally were selling, but now we've kind of put it in as part of the bundle. But yeah, totally agree that having more SKUs and being able to get them to purchase more kind of accessories or other things that are at a lower price point, that just keeps them coming back as a nice thing. But we've got bigger SKUs in the pipe, like other products in the pipeline, but it's just with products this size, this cost is the logistics kind of headache that comes with that.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out how much we commit to stocking and holding new products.
Hey, I'm curious because I work from home myself with my agency. I'm guessing you guys were popping off when lockdown kind of came in and everything like that. Has it been pretty steady? Because I mean, I see a lot of people still working from home to this day. Has it like consistent growth, or is it leveled off a little bit?
No, it popped off over lockdown, but particularly the second Auckland lockdown, we launched a mini at the exact same time, so that worked well.
Yeah, perfect.
And it went well for about 6 months after that.
Yeah.
And then the wheels fell off when the interest rates started coming up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm with you. Easy. Well, mate, it sounds like, got a bit of stuff down pat, to be honest. And, email probably for you guys would be more just around educating rather than selling. Just out of curiosity, how big is the list that you guys have?
It's only about 2,500.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, easy.
Doesn't know how to build a list, and there we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a few ways, right? So, like, with the people that I work with, I mean, you've got your lead magnet on your website, right? Which is when people jump onto the website, they have I think it's the ebook that you guys are giving away. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, like, great. I'm sure you're getting pretty decent conversion rates on that. There's other ways where it's like you can run some sort of collaborative giveaway outside of, with other brands. The only thing is sometimes the quality of lists that you guys grow just isn't as good because everyone's entering for a giveaway. The other way would be, honestly, if I were you guys, like I'd have some sort of ad strategy where it's focused on that PDF guide and people just opt in for the PDF. And then from there, you gradually just have like a welcome series built out that kind of educates on each one of those products, cross-sell them that way. And that's probably the quickest way that you build your list. Putting ads.
Thinking like a meta strategy, like Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, no, I just do email, so I don't really know the ins and outs of like a meta strategy or anything like that. But if you had the budget, like that's probably what I'd look at doing because you're obviously talking to people already who are interested in their back posture and, you just target people who work from home from like a meta perspective.
So you target people through individual
Yeah.
who's like to convert them on the newsletter to then tell the brand story and the product story to then convert them through the newsletter into the product.
Yeah, I reckon that's how I do it from like an email perspective. Um, you'd obviously like the big thing with like smaller businesses is it's really hard to analyze um, data over a long period of time just because you need cash flow relatively quick, right? Like bigger brands can chuck like 20 grand into a campaign and then analyze the results over 3 months because they can afford to just sit without that 20 grand. For smaller businesses, it's kind of like we need to put all this into a strategy that converts now rather than 3 months down the road. But if you did have like a bit of budget, I'd recommend setting aside a couple $100 a week towards an ad strategy that promotes that ebook, gets them into the welcome series, and then just build a series of emails out in that welcome series, and then take a look at what the conversion rates are from that email welcome series after about like 2 months, right? So just look at the data from 2 months back till now, and then say, okay, over a 2 month period, we spent, let's say $2,000 on ads, and we got 500, 600 new subscribers, and from those we generated about 5 to 7K in sales. Then you're like, okay, well, what are our margins? What's our return on ad spend over 2 months rather than like immediately,
What, in your opinion, makes a really good welcome email list sequence?
Yeah, well, we're getting into the weeds here, and it might be better just to jump on a little video call at some point. But it's a few fold, right? Like obviously, like delivering what you're promising, right? So you guys have that ebook that you guys are giving out, hitting that off, and then from there, it's really educating the brand, right? Educating about the story, the origin story, building familiarity, giving value. I like to continuously give value in the welcome series, and then after enough value or goodwill has been built up, you then start making the ask, which is like, hey, have you tried our product X? Have you seen what product Y does? Here's a discount code if you haven't already purchased, and then just encouraging that first purchase there. But a lot of people, build a welcome series and make it 3 or 4 emails long. Personally, if you have the time and the resource, it's just worth making it as long as possible, right? Just educating as much as you possibly can. And I mean, finding creative ways to educate. With you guys, your whole area, I mean, you can talk for years about, back posture, chiropractic, adjacent knowledge, and everything like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Last question from me.
Yeah.
What are the email lists that you've seen grow the most in terms of like what kind of target do they have? What kind of content are they providing that have most virality?
So
not necessarily profitable, but I'm just thinking in terms of like if you send one email, 5 people sign up.
Okay. So, wait, do you mean people subscribing to your email newsletter or buying from the emails?
Do you have examples of all certain newsletters in mind that have grown a huge followership based on a type of content or style of email?
So it's kind of like chicken or the egg, right? Because people don't see the emails until they subscribe. So the list growth really comes outside of the actual email marketing strategy itself. The list growth comes from a good landing page or sign up form or incentive to join. And then it also comes from like a good ad strategy. So what you're doing in the back end of like, or SEO, or however you're getting in front of people to then land onto your website to then convert them. It's like, email doesn't really work in isolation. We can have the best email marketing strategy, but if no one's coming to your website, whether that be from SEO, whether that be from Google or Meta ads, it's never going to have a chance to shine. You know what I mean?
You don't see anyone like growing an email list based off forwards. Like you receive an email from someone, you go, shit, this is epic, you forward it to someone, and then they sign up.
You know, not really in the direct-to-consumer space, and you know what? It's actually quite hard to measure that, like attribution-wise, because we can't really see where the conversions are taking place or where they're coming from, you know? Um, so I wouldn't know that, unfortunately. And I would also say that's probably more in the B2B space is where that's taking place. But if you guys position yourself quite well as like an education or an authority in that area, you'd probably be able to build that up a little bit. But I haven't seen anything crazy that way apart from, obviously I'm part of a few newsletters myself where they're, it's the trick is to just give a lot of value and not sell with those. You just want to give. That's probably the biggest takeaway there. Is just if you want to get an email that people want to forward, don't sell anything. Just give information that people can pass on to their friends.
It's useful.
100%. It has to be useful. You can't just talk about shit.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Hey, best of luck out there, and if anything changes, you got my number.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Catch you later.
Cool, bye. So that was a complete waste of fucking time, and I kind of knew it was going to be. But halfway through, I was like, this guy's fleecing me for information. But boy, oh boy, do I love to help people for free. So, yeah, I went ahead and helped him. That's okay. It's part of it. Yeah, so that's that one done. Honestly, like, I found out throughout the call that he's probably not going to be a good fit anyway, and I probably should have just hung up. But I found that out by asking how big his list size was, that kind of stuff, which you can't really figure out until you start asking. So I learned the hard way right there. So let's go to the next one. I think I've got about 7 more to get through, and I've always stopped this at 5 o'clock my time, just because I found that I get the best answer rates from a phone call at around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I try and go for, 30 minutes of researching leads, 30 minutes of cold calling at the end of each day. And it's proven to be really useful. Like, I've gotten some leads, I've gotten some big deals from it. It's really, really worthwhile. Gavin, full transparency, a bit of a cold call. You got 20 seconds?
Hey Gavin, how you going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Hey, whereabouts are you based, mate?
Auckland, New Zealand.
Yeah, what part?
Hobsonville.
Oh, yeah, I'm in St. Luke's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, American accent, but lived here most of my life.
Hey, buddy.
Dude, I know. I always have to, like, explain it when I do these calls because people think I'm calling from overseas, and yeah, it's a double-edged sword. That and the terrible reputation that we have.
No, you don't have a bad reputation, but you definitely sound like a cold caller.
Do I actually? Yeah, it's the accent. Anyway, dude, I'll cut to the chase, huh? I was just checking you guys out. I run an email marketing agency here in Auckland, and subscribe to your guys' newsletter, and I noticed a few things that could be improved just straight off the bat, and I was also just kind of wondering what you guys were doing on that front.
I kind of am doing it all myself.
Yeah.
I have had digital marketing agencies in the past myself, so I'm pretty across it, but email marketing is not my, forte, but definitely understand the bare bones of it. Currently using Klaviyo, have all my flows set up, but not, I wouldn't say it's top tier, but it's running fine as is.
Yeah, nice, cool. Hey, out of curiosity, how'd you get your start with the business? I mean, you've nailed your packaging and your branding.
I started pretty much because I owned a digital marketing agency. I just thought, fuck, if I can do this for my clients, I can do it for myself. I was a product design or an industrial designer by trade when I came out of uni. So after doing digital marketing for a little while, growing an agency, I was like, I'll give this a go. I love aesthetics and design and all that kind of stuff. So started on that front. Got some shareholders in to get some money in, and it kind of was meant to be a drop shipping company to start with, to be honest. And then I just felt very much attached to the brand and ended up growing it very community based, pulled right back on ads, focused on brand building, content, social, things that I wanted to prove to my clients that you didn't just need lots of Facebook budget to make a company work.
Yeah.
And then now definitely do have Facebook budget in it, but it's quite community driven, to be completely honest, which is probably why we do, like emails are somewhat of an importance, like especially campaigns and whatnot, where pulling in is important to me. But like I said, it's definitely, I'm open to a chat if you've got all the ideas under the sun.
Yeah, well, okay, I can give you some little, because I've got your welcome series email straight off the bat here. I can just give you one quick tip right now.
Already an impressive cold call that you've actually done your homework.
Ah, dude, I know, because I've had, when I first started a couple of years ago, it was just, you get on the call and then you're just...
like, oh, which one is this again? No, I'm impressed already, nice bit.
Yeah. So currently, I don't know if you've checked, but the emails that come out, you'll notice it says via ksd1.claviomail.com. That's because you have a shared sender domain, and what that means is it's great when you first start out with email marketing, but if you said you're already generating some good revenue from it, you want to switch over to a dedicated sender domain for two reasons. One, from like a branding perspective, it just gets rid of that via section, that Clavio mail, just looks kind of messy, and it also improves your deliverability. In like nerd talk, you're using a domain that like other people are using as well. It's a shared center domain essentially, and if you have a good reputation, like if you're getting open rates above 40%, you're getting click rates above 1.5%, and you got some good healthy engagement there, you want to leverage that and build off of your own reputation that you've essentially built up. And switching over to a dedicated one means only you're using that domain, and it just improves where your emails land. Out of spam, you're not landing in spam, you're all good, but you are landing in the promotions folder, at least for myself. And what that'll do is gradually, over time, if you have like a good campaign strategy to back it, move you from that promotions into the primary folder. That's the dream, at least.
Yeah.
And that improves clicks, conversions, all that good stuff.
Totally.
And then one other thing, I'll just get this whipped up really quickly.
What's the agency called, dude?
Inbox, in-box.co.nz.
Nice.
Yeah. I tried getting .com, but it was like $20,000 or something.
Oh yeah, I was about to say that'd be impressive to do that.
Huge. And also, there's just a little typo in the first email where it says use smile 10. You've got 2 space bars just for there, and then also, I noticed on your sign up form, try to not give the discount on the sign up form. You want to give it only via the email so people engage with the emails.
Do I give it on the sign up form?
It's on the sign up form, yeah.
Where?
I'll show you. Give me 1 second here. I'll just open it in incognito mode. 2 seconds. Whitening Co. 1 second. And there's a little cheeky little typo in it as well, I noticed, but I don't want to go too ham,
Yeah, start picking apart my spelling.
I just feel like a dick halfway through this. Okay, so if I go, it's the pop-up, the bottom right-hand corner pop-up.
Yeah.
Hit submit. Yep, it goes, thanks for signing up. Use code SMILE10 at checkout for...
Ooh, I hate that. I didn't know that was done. Yuck.
Yeah. Just a cheeky, it sounds like you already know why, but yeah, just a cheeky little thing there.
Okay, hit me. You've hooked me.
Easy. Well, I'll give you a little pitch then. So we try and get I try and get at least 35% of total revenue coming from emails. We do everything: script, design, build, test, manage the strategy, from scripting all the way to split testing after the campaigns have been sent and analyzing that data. We try and take over everything from an email perspective. Like, I think my big selling point is a time save, while also, bringing in some pretty chunky revenue as well. Work with a bunch of clients here. Well, not a bunch. A few clients here in New Zealand, some in the States, some in Canada as well, and a few in Australia. And just trying to, solidify the whole New Zealand side of things, really.
How long have you been here?
I've lived in New Zealand for 18 years.
Oh my god, your accent.
It's great. I grew up in Wellington, and Mom's from Boston, and so we just bounced it back and forth. And then when I was 18, went to South America, tried to find myself, didn't, and then came back to New Zealand, and then went to Melbourne for a bit, came back, lockdowns happened, and then I've just kind of been here since.
Are you Gavin?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. You should be able to find me on LinkedIn as well if you do a cheeky search there.
Crazy that you still such an accent. That's so awesome.
It's
Like,
yeah. You know, it helps with like presenting. I think.
I
Like,
reckon it definitely does help for sure, and like reels and stuff. If you were focusing on that, like.
yeah. Well, I'm sure my social. Like, I suck, dude. Like, I just can't see. I've been putting a lot of content out there, and like I've got a podcast for email marketing. I've got a bunch of LinkedIn stuff, but it's like it's long tail kind of thing. It takes a long time to really, especially in
Fucking yonks.
yeah B2B. But it compounds, right? So
Absolutely, 100%. You never know which one's gonna hit.
yeah, definitely. Well, dude, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but if you're interested, would love to jump on a call sometime this week / next week if you have some time.
Next week, probably. I'm absolutely cooked. I've just been away overseas, so.
Where'd you go?
I was flown to Indonesia as part of a delegation for beauty entrepreneurs from New Zealand to strengthen the trade between Indonesia and New Zealand.
That's epic. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool, but it was full on.
Yeah? What were you guys doing?
Meeting like New Zealand embassy leaders over there, trade and export people, different founders, like all these different. There was just lots of networking dinners and like things like that, which is like fun, obviously. And then you just do 7 days of it non-stop, and you're like, whoa, I could really talk to someone who doesn't speak an acronym. Would be great.
Yeah, the ICP.
I've actually got from that delegation a note from another founder around an email marketer.
Oh, yeah.
That I wrote down. I haven't yet reached out to them yet, so you might have bit them to it, and you might have been a very successful cold call for you today. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I guess her name is Brinley King.
I know Brinley. Yeah, she's good. Like, definitely can vouch for her as well. Like, she's solid. I'm working in an account that she set up a couple of years ago, and she sets up some good flows.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just want you to know that if you bit her to it, so I don't really care. But and I know that she's got some massive brands and she's very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted you to know that if that's where I'm looking, I want epic results.
Oh yeah, those definitely. I mean, I can't tell you the client, but like, we're doing. Yeah, she's great, but we're able to do all the work that she's definitely done. I've seen the work that she's able to do, and it's definitely on par with what we do.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Both from it's a small world, right? Like, I think it's a niche within niche, right? Like marketing, and then email marketing. It's kind of, I just want to do just email, and so there's like hardly any people who really do that. You're like the third person to mention her to me, and I've talked to her a few times. I've been trying to get her on my podcast actually. But
Crack up that as people mention it. I got her name from Ed and I. Do you know Ed and I?
no, Ed and I. Let me check it out.
EDNI, Ed and I, VOD or Ed and I.
Oh yeah.
She's a good friend of mine, Edna, very successful brand, hitting 6 figures a month now. And then she spent about 15 grand, I think, getting all her flows done by Brinley. Full disclosure, I do not have that level of budget yet, but it was a one-off payment, so I can understand the concept more. Like, they want to keep running it like in-house, whereas they were paying her to kind of just do it all, whereas I don't necessarily want that. Like, I love the idea of having expert leaders. Coming from agency background myself, like, I do really appreciate the value of having someone who's better than me at certain things, doing things.
Yeah.
And I also understand that if you're helping me generate revenue, you know, of course you're going to get paid for that because you can see the money there. I've got no problem with that. But it's a growing brand. I just want to make sure I'm obviously teeing it up with the right people. And to me, I'll invest if it's
Yeah, the right fit.
Yeah, the right fit.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, more than ever, I don't think I've ever charged 15 grand for a one-off project. But once again, I don't know how.
Let's get you there.
Yeah, man. Hey, you're the next up, dude. I think.
You're like.
Yeah, what?
But like, hey, with some of that as well, like, if that's the nature of the game, and if you do end up wanting more clients from it, etc.,
yeah,
and we can hustle a deal, I'm very open to sharing you across. I don't know if you've seen my channels as well, but what I can do to like push your name up there. I hate gatekeeping. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Especially in New Zealand, when when we're, you know, we're all so small. We're, you know, I did like just so known, but like, you know, some of that kind of information. So
it's one of those things where I think like people are still caught up in the idea of like, if I create the magical strategy around this, and it's like, really, it all comes back to brand. If you have a strong brand,
you gotta make sure it's set up right, and the rest of it kind of
it all falls back to like, you know, I mean, you can have a better product, but if people don't buy into like what your message is, they don't see themselves using your product, it doesn't really matter. It's the same with I mean, you know this, but it's like B2B, right? It's the exact same thing. It's like, I post a load on LinkedIn, and it just comes back to brand more than anything.
Yeah, totally. If they want to work with you, if they associate with what you're saying, of course they're going to convert higher than someone who is just ignoring it totally. So no, I think that's cool, man. Hey, look, that's a fucking great timing of a call. Well done.
Awesome.
If you want to tee up a time with me next week, we can chat further.
Yes, most definitely. How are you placed for Tuesday?
Only time I could do Tuesday would be...
So, successful call, booked a meeting. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. Locking those bad boys in. Boom! I'm going to stop because it is pretty much 5 o'clock over here, and I don't like cold calling people outside of work hours. But that's successful. I mean, that was 3 calls right there. No one told me to piss off, apart from like one person who wasn't very happy with me. But it works. Cold calling works. That was 3. I got 1 meeting from 3. I mean, and it sounds like a very promising meeting. So, push, let's go.